Hare Krishna. So, welcome all for today's CHAITANYA class. So, we are in Madhya Lila, chapter number 5. So, we saw just day before yesterday that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Yajapura village and he saw Varadev, and then he goes to Kataka. In Kataka, uh, he saw Sakshi Gopal, and then Nityananda Prabhu narrated the story of Sakshi Gopal to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there we saw the in pilgrimage there are two Brahmanas, one old and one young, and there is no name mentioned in this story. And then the young Brahmana served the old Brahmana very nicely, and therefore the old Brahmana promised that because you have served me so nicely, I will give my daughter to you. And then the young Brahmana says, I am not at all qualified for your daughter. And he says that uh, कन्यादान पात्र आमी नहीं है तुम्हारा कृष्ण प्रीति करी तुम्हारा सेवा व्यार आई हैव डन द सर्विस ओनली टू प्लीज कृष्ण एंड ब्राह्मण सेवाय कृष्ण प्रीति बढ़ाया तहारा संतोषे भक्ति संपदा बढ़ाया. So he's saying that if we do the service of brahmanas, then what happens? The devotion towards Krishna rises, and therefore when we do Vaishnava service with the right attitude, what happens? Our heart becomes more in tune to the devotional service, and the devotional service rises in our heart. And then the old Brahma says, don't have doubt, I'll give my daughter to you. And the young Brahma says that you know the example of Rukmini, and you have your relatives, your wife, and your children all, and nothing happens like this because I'm not educated, I'm not rich, and not aristocratic. So let us not have this proposal. But then old Brahmana said, no, no, I am the boss, and I will do the needful. And then the young Brahmana said, okay, if that is the case, then please say this before the deity. So deity will remain as witness. The Gopal deity will remain as witness. And then they come back. After some days, the old Brahmana gives this news to his relatives and sons and all. And together, they say that we condemn this and we'll give our life. And then the old Brahmana helplessly prays to Lord and takes the shelter of Gopal. Then the young Brahmana comes next day and asks that you had promised to give your daughter in charity to me. Now you do not speak. What is the conclusion? So the old Brahmana is silent now, and the son comes with a stick and says that you are most regretted. You want to marry my sister, but you are like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon. And then seeing the stick, the young Brahmana fled from that place. And now what does he do? Let's see. So next day, however, he gathered together all people of the village. सब लोका बड़ा विप्र दाखिया नीला तबे से लघु विप्र कहिता लागिला. So all the people of village then called for the elder Brahmana and brought him to their meeting place. The young Brahmana then began to speak before them as follows. इहा मोरा कन्या रीते करे अच्छे अंगीकार एबे ये ना देना पूछा इहारा व्यवहार. The gentleman had promised to hand over his daughter to me, yet now he does not follow his promise. Please ask him about his behavior. तबे से विप्रला पूछिला सर्वजाना कन्या के ने नाते हाय दीदी आछे वचाना. All the people gathered there and asked the elderly Brahmana, if you have already promised to give him your daughter in charity, why are you not fulfilling your promise? You had given your word of honor. So it's a very important thing here. Whenever we start something, we promise something to ourselves. It is good to have a partner who will remind us, oh, you told that from tomorrow you will chant in the morning, but you are not doing. So it's a good idea to have someone who is like uh, our accountability partner. So here, what is happening is the Brahmana is not fulfilling this promise, that the whole village is coming to that. Why you're not fulfilling the promise? Like this, we should have some senior or somebody who can catch our ear and say, oh, you had told me that you will do this, but you are not doing. So what is the matter? Let me know. So this is a very good idea. विप्र कहे सुना लोक मोरा निवेदाना कभी की बोलिया छी मोरा नाही का स्मरण. Lali Rama said, my dear friends, please hear what I have to submit. I do not exactly remember making a promise like that. Eta suni tara putra vakya chala paya pragalbaya hey ayya kahe samukha siya. When the elder Brahmana's son heard this, he took the opportunity to juggle some words. Becoming very impudent, he stood before the assembly and spoke as follows. तीर्थयात्राया पितारा संगे चिला बहुदान धन देखिए दुष्टेरा लैते हैला मना. While during various holy places of pilgrimage, my father carried much money. Seeing the money, this rogue decided to take it away. आर के हे संग नाही यही संग अकेला धोतारा खायो आयना बाप करिला पागल. There was no one beside this man and with my father, giving him an intoxicant known as dhatura to eat. This rogue made my father mad. सबधन लिया कहे चोर लैला धाना कन्या दिते चाहिए छे उठाइला वचना. Having taken all my father's money, this rogue claimed that it was taken by some thief. Now he is claiming that my father had promised to give him his daughter in charity. तुम्हारा सकल लोक करह विचार मोरा पिता रे कन्या दीते योग्य की हार. All of you assembled here are gentlemen. Please judge whether it is befitting to offer this poor Brahmana my father's daughter. एतत्सुनि लोकेरा मन हैला संशय संभवे धन लोभे लोक छाड़े धर्म भय. Hearing all these statements, all the people gathered there became a little doubtful. They thought it is quite possible that because of attraction for riches, one might give up his religious principles. So, in this story, we see how the elder Brahmana says, I do not remember, and his son then manipulates the whole thing. So, in our life also, there may be situations when the actual thing will never come out and the story may manipulate. So, sometimes it is done for good purpose and sometimes it may be for some bad purpose. In one place, in a temple, a brahmachari did something wrong and he was told that please tell that I want to go out of the temple so that nobody questions your integrity. Otherwise, what will happen? People will have doubt after you go out that you did something wrong and you are punished and you are taken out. So it is in your interest that if you say that I want to go out because I am not suitable for the ashram, then it will be much, much better instead of we telling that this is what has happened and we are removing out. So please, can you do the needful? The brahmachari really agreed because he knew if he didn't tell, people will ask the reason why he wants to go out. And the manager will have to then tell the real reason. That will be very bad. So they told some reason like the mother is sick or something, whatever it is, and she went out. So the internal story and external story, always there's some difference there may be. And sometimes something is manipulated, but the outer reason must be good. Here, if we see the reason why the wrong narration given is because the son is an atheist person and he does not want to fulfill the promise given by his father. In the case of Dasarat Maharaj, we see that Ramji wanted to fulfill the promise of father. Why? Because father was a devotee. Dasarat Maharaj was a devotee of Ramchandra. He was a devotee of Lord. And therefore, he was ready to fulfill promise. Here, even though the father is a devotee, the son is an atheist person, he does not want to fulfill the promise given by his father. So this very contrasting thing here, which is happening, and we'll see further what happens. तबे छोटा विप्र कहे सुने सुन महाजान नाय जिनी बारे कहे असत्य वचन. At that time, the young Brahma said, my dear gentlemen, please hear. Just to gain victory or in an argument, this man is lying. So Vaishnavas generally don't want to do an argument, but here there is a need and therefore the Vipra will say. ये ब्रह्मोरा सेवाय तुष्ट है ये बेहैला तोरामी कन्या दीपे आपन कहिला. Being very satisfied with my service, this Brahmana said to me, of his own accord, I promise to hand over my daughter to you. At that time, I forbade him to do so, telling him, O best of Brahmanas, I am not fit husband for your daughter. Whereas you are learned scholar, a rich man belonging to aristocratic family. I am a poor man, uneducated and with no claim to aristocracy. So we saw that whenever marriage happens, if it is happened with these things taken care of, education, aristocracy, and the family, then it is very good. Why? Because they are born with certain conditions, certain facilities, and if they get it further also, it will be very easy for them to survive. Otherwise, it will be difficult. And then still this Brahmana insisted again and again. He asked me to accept his proposal, saying, I have given you my daughter, please accept her. I then said, please hear, you are learned Brahmana, your wife's friends and relatives will never agree to this proposal. My dear sir, you will not be able to fulfill your promise. Your promise will be broken.
Yes.
Yet, again and again, the Brahmana emphasized promise. I offer to you my daughter, do not hesitate. She is my daughter, and I shall give her to you. Who can forbid me? At that time, I considered in my mind and requested the Brahmana to make the promise before the Gopal meeting. तबे ही यो गोपालेर आगे ते कहिला तुमी जान ए विप्र कन्या मी दिला. Then this gentleman said in front of Gopality, my dear Lord, please bear witness. I offer my daughter to this Brahmana and charity. So accepting the Gopal deity, as my witness, I then submitted the following at the lotus feet. If this Brahmana later hesitates to give me his daughter, then, my dear Lord, I shall call you as witness. Please note this with care and attention. So here if we see, the Brahmana is not seeing the deity. He is seeing that Lord is present, and therefore he is asking that if something happens, then I will call you. Please hear this. Thus, यही वाक्य साक्षी मोरा आछे महाजन यार वाक्य सत्य करी माने त्रिभुवन. Thus I have called upon the great personality in this transaction. I asked the Supreme Godhead to be my witness. The entire world accepts the word of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is one important thing which Prabhupada notes here. Although the young Brahmana described himself as having no claim to aristocracy and being an uneducated common man, still he had one good qualification. He believed that the Supreme Personality Godhead was topmost authority and accepted the words of Lord Krishna without hesitation and had firm faith in the Lord's consistency. So this is a major qualification which one has, and must be considered the most supreme, because even though he had nothing, but a pure devotee who has firm faith in the words of Supreme Personality Godhead is to be considered the most learned scholar, topmost aristocrat, and the richest man in the whole world. All godly qualities automatically exist in such a devotee. So that is how it is, that even if one does not have qualifications, one must have full faith in Krishna. And then here Prabhupada is given his example how this movement is going on and how we are poor without professional resource of income, but Krishna supplies, and therefore this is all going on. If we can attain the fire of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, we do not need anything else. We certainly do not need those things which a mundane person considers to be material assets. So if we get Krishna, we don't need anything. That is what a pure devotee says. For us, as far as our life is concerned, we also need material facilities as well as spiritual things. If somebody says that we want only material happiness, then we should switch off all the ACs, fans in our home, should not go on AC cars and everything. Because that means if we want all this, that means we want material fetches now also, and we also need this in the future also. We want good material life as well as good spiritual life. तबे बड़ा विप्र कहे यही सत्य कथा, गोपाल यदि साक्षी देना आपनी ऐसी यथा, तबे कन्या दिवे आमी जानी है निश्चय, तारा पुत्र कहे यही भला बात है. So see, there was disagreement between the son and the father, but now a situation has been created where both of them are agreeing. And we see that father is a person who believes in God, but son does not believe in God. Still, both are agreeing. So Prabhupada writes in this way that taking this opportunity, the elderly Brahman immediately confirmed that this was really true. He said, if Gopal personally comes here to serve witness, I shall surely give my daughter to a young Brahmana. And the elderly Brahmana immediately confirmed this, saying, yes, this is a very nice statement. So, uh, Krishna created a situation wherein they agreed. They both agreed the Gopal deity would come, serve as witness, the daughter would be given to the young Brahmana. So in general circumstance, there would no agreement. But because Krishna is present, there was an agreement made. बड़ा विप्रदा मन कृष्ण बड़ा दयावान, अवश्य मोरा वाक्य ते हो करीबा प्रमाण. The early Brahmana thought, since the Lord Krishna is very merciful, he will certainly come to prove my statement. पुत्र रामने प्रतिमा नासिबा साक्षी दीते, यही बुद्धि दुई जन हैला सम्मते. So sometimes different parties come to an agreement, but they will not come with the same reason. Here, if we see, the Yashish person thought it's not possible for Gopal to come and bear witness, thinking thus the father and son agreed. He's saying, oh, anyways, the Lord will not come and this promise will not be made. And the father is thinking, Lord is so merciful and he will come, and therefore the agreement is made. So different people have different interest in the same things, and therefore agreements are made. And gradually things uncover. Like so many people come to temple. So there was one family who came because daughter was not getting married. And one of our senior devotees told that tell her to recite Rukmini pastime, how Rukmini got married. And by doing this, her daughter got married and they eventually became devotees. So for what reasons people come, we don't know. Eventually, if they become devotees, that is the success. And therefore, here also, why people agree, we don't know what is their conditioning, what happens. But eventually, if they come to a good conclusion, they become nice devotees, that is success. छोटा विप्र बले पत्र करह लिखाना, पुनः ये नाही चले ये सब वचना. The young Brahmana to this opportunity to speak, please write this down on paper in black and white so that you may not again change your word of honor. So this was the first time the agreement is made as far as the present history is concerned, last 500 years. So agreement is very important. Whatever is there, it should be in writing. Otherwise, there will always be fight. Oh, you said this, we said this, or nothing like this, and this all goes on. So if it is in writing, best form, like we have in WhatsApp or email nowadays, that we write it down, what is to be done. And whenever there is some, whenever we don't get some answers, we are stuck in some problem and mind is thinking so many, better to write it down. When things are written down, it gets clear in our mind also that no, we don't do this or this. So writing is a good thing to be done. And here we see how the first agreement is made. तब सब लोक मिली पत्र ते लिखीला दोहार सम्मति लया मध्यस्थ राखीला. All the assembly people got the statement down in black and white and taking the signature of agreement from both of them served as the meditators. So then we got all the people as meditators. And we have seen so many examples in Vrindavan. We had Deen Bandhu Prabhu. So who was offered one of the good places in Vrindavan to develop the. So he developed that thing, and the father told that I'm giving this land to you. You develop. So Dinbandhu Prabhu, we know him very well. He's like he knows all the Vrindavan Katha, and the way he speaks is wonderful. So he did the needful, and after some time, when it was developed, the son came and told that give our land back. So because it was not returned, what happened is we lost such a good place. I think Vindakund or a place in Vrindavan. So we lost that place because it was not in writing. And then what happened is the government also invested a lot of money. So it became a huge property in itself, and they amassed a lot of wealth. So that is secondly. But importantly, we lost a very good place where our devotees could have gone for retreat and so many things would have done, just because no agreement was there in written thing. And then they back. Like Prabhupada also, whenever he got some land or something, he told that first make an agreement, then we'll do something. Otherwise, what happens in this world, when you start doing some work there, and after the work is halfway, then there's no, give us land back, or you have to pay something, or this thing happened, and then there's a huge loss to the institution. And therefore, whenever such things happen, better it should be in writing, black and white. तबे छोटा विप्र कहे सुने सर्व जाना यही विप्र सत्यवाक धर्म परायण. The young Brahmana then said, will you all gentlemen please hear about this from me? This elder Brahmana is certainly truthful and is following the religious principle. सवाक्य छाड़ी तिहारा नहीं कबू मान स्वजन मृत्यु भय कहे असत्यावचान. He has no desire to break his promise, but fearing that his kinsman would commit suicide, he deviated from the truth. See, very important thing. How much faith we have in devotees. See, here there is a conflict between two devotees. Both are pure devotees, and both are not misunderstanding other devotees. See, this young Brahmana went to the old Brahmana, and the old Brahmana outwardly said lie that he did not remember anything. But still, what is the attitude of the young Brahmana? He's saying that he does not want to break his promise, just that because he's fearing the kinsman would commit suicide, he deviated from the truth. Similarly, in our devotee relationship, do we have faith on other devotees? That if devotee is acting wrongly, if he's saying them some lie or something, there must be some underlying reason for this. Are we ready to say that he does not want to do, but because of circumstance, because of some problem, he's acting like this? He's actually a good person, but sometimes he may act bad because of some reasons we don't know. Do we judge that person and give him sufficient time that he may come out with the right reason, and right time may come where the things can be done more properly? And therefore, if such things happen, we should try that the relationship is not broken. There may be some working relationship at least, that it is not broken. Sometimes when we have fight, when we have arguments, when things doesn't go what we like, then what happens? From matbhed, it becomes manbhed. And then we don't want to even see that devotee also. And then we lost a devotee whom so many people have invested to make him devotee. It's not easy to make anyone devotee, to bring in devotional service. But because of some misunderstanding, we have lost that devotee. And we see so many times it happens. Like we tell others that people speak something bad or something because of conditioning, like the three modes of material nature. People speak like this. But when devotees do something like this, do we have faith that the person itself is genuine? But just because the circumstance is not good, he or she is not able to do the needful. Are we giving him or her a doubt or just opportunity that, okay, let's do it next time again? So the more we trust the devotees, the more devotees will grow, and more we doubt, the chance of their growth will be curtailed. So it's upon us how we make the thing in a way that the devotee progresses. Ihara punya krishani sakshi bolai ba tabe se viprara satya pratigya rakhi ba. By the piety of the elderly Brahmana, I shall call the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a witness. Thus, I shall keep his truthful promise intact. See again, what a wonderful thing. He's saying that by the piety of the elder Brahmana, I shall bring the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a witness. So he's not saying that I am doing or I will do. He's saying because of the blessings of the Vaishnava, because of the blessings of the piety of the elder Brahmana, I will be able to call Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whenever we achieve something, whenever we do some service, it is not our own strength. It is the blessings of Vaishnavas, Vaishnava community, because of which we have done something good. Otherwise, as far as we are concerned, we know ourselves. We have so many anarthas, calm, growth, love, and so many things. So to achieve something spiritual is not so easy. And therefore, if something is coming to our way, that means it is because of the blessings we have received of Vaishnavas. And it may be causeless, or we may have pleased some Vaishnavas sometime. It may be anything. But still, it is because of the blessings that we could do something in Lord's service. Eta suni nastika loka upahasakare keha bole Ishwara dayalu asiteha pare. Hearing the emphatic statement of the younger Brahmana, some atheists in the meeting began to cut jokes. However, someone else said, after all, the Lord is merciful and he likes, he can come. In our life, there will always be two types of person. One who will encourage us and one who will discourage us. One who will give shelter to us and one who will criticize us. So, what to hear and from whom to hear, that is our choice. And here also we see how there are some people cutting jokes and the others are saying that Lord is merciful. तबे से छोटा विप्र गेला वृंदावन दंडवत करी के सब विवरण. After the meeting, the young Brahmana started for Vrindavan. Upon arriving there, he first offered respectful obeisance to deity and then narrated everything in full detail. So, very important thing. Respect is there. At the same time, he's not like, oh, you are Lord, you know everything, do the needful. No, he's relating the whole story to the Lord as if first time. So, he's treating Lord as person. And then he says, Brahmanya deva tumi bada daya maya dui viprara dharma rakha haya sadaya. He said, my dear Lord, you are the protector of Brahmanical culture and you are also very merciful. Therefore, kindly show your great mercy by protecting the religious principle of us two Brahmanas. So again, inclusive culture and inclusive things. He is not saying, please protect my promise only and let the old Brahmana go to hell. He is saying, please protect promise of both of us, of both two Brahmanas. Therefore, are we a person of a broader mind, or our mind is only thinking of our own victory or our own what we can achieve, or we are thinking of how collectively we can do more and let us protect all the devotees, not ourselves. So, in normal circumstances, in material circumstances, it is like if I win, you lose, and if you win, I lose. But in spiritual circles, both of us can win. There is no need that one has to suffer for other, or if one is successful, that means other needs to be unsuccessful. Both can be successful. It is possible. And here also we see that the Brahmana is saying that let us do something, please do something that let us both our promises be protected. Kanya babe mora man iha nahi sukha, brahmanera pratigyaya yehi bada dukha. My dear Lord, I am not thinking to become happy by getting the daughter as a bride. I am simply thinking that the Brahmana has broken his promise and that is giving me great pain. So again, see the consciousness of the young Brahmana. He is not thinking of sense gratification, but he is thinking that the Brahmana's promises should not be broken. And this is giving more pain than the gain he would get by marrying. So, his only concern was the elder Brahmana had promised something, and if the Gopal did not bear witness to the transition, then the older Brahmana would incur spiritual damage. Therefore, the young Brahmana wanted protection and help from deity. The young Brahmana was pure Vaishnava and had no desire for sanctuary. He always wanted to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the older Brahmana, who was also a Vaishnava and very much devoted to the Lord. So, service is the underlying principle of whatever we do. If one becomes a temple president, his motive is to serve devotees. If one becomes a guru, his motive is to serve devotees, his disciples. Anything we do, our post may change, our services may change, but all the service and post, one thing remains constant, that is, we are meant to serve, and that is what is the service attitude. And we see in chapters of Adila also, where Sankarshan says also that I am servant of servant and I want to serve. So Krishna is also Lord and Balaram is also Lord. But Krishna is taking worship and Lord, and whereas Balaram is servitor Lord. So both are Lord, but this is the difference. Eta jani tumi sakshi deha daya maya, jani sakshi nahi de tara papa haya. The young Brahmana continued, my dear sir, you are very merciful and you know everything. Therefore, kindly be a witness in this case. A person who knows things as they are and still does not bear witness becomes involved in sinful activities. So see the humility and the simplicity of the Brahmana. Lord does not incur any sin if he does something wrong also. And God actually does not do any wrong in life. But here, the Brahmana is like, if you don't come, it will be wrong. So, he's very personal and therefore, he's speaking such words. The dealings between the devotee and the Lord are very simple. The young Brahmana said to Lord, you know everything, but if you do not bear witness, you should be involved in sinful activities. There is no possibility, however, of the Lord being involved in sinful activities. A pure devotee, even though he knows everything of the Supreme Lord, can speak with the Lord exactly if he were a common man. Although dealings between the Lord and his devotees are always very simple and open, there is formality. All these things happen because of the connection between the Lord and the devotee. So, this is what goes on between Lord and devotee. 91. कृष्ण कहे विप्र तुमी याह या स्वभावाने सभा करी मोरा तुमी करह स्मराणे. Lord Krishna replied, my dear Brahmana, go back to your home and call a meeting of all men. In that meeting, just try to remember me. आविर्भावयामि ताहा साक्षी दीवा तबे तुई विप्रेरा सत्य प्रतिज्ञा राखीबा. I shall certainly appear there, and at that time I shall protect the honor of both you Brahmanas by bearing witness to the promise. So Krishna is saying, I will come there, do not worry, just go and remember me. Viprabale yadiyo chaturbhuja murti tabu tumara vakya karu na haibe pratiti. The young Brahmana replied, my dear sir, even you appear there as a 400 Vishnu deity, still none of those people will believe in your words. यही मूर्ति की यदि यही शिवदाने साक्षी देहा यदि तवे सर्वलोक सुने. Only if you go there in this form of Gopal and speak the words from your beautiful face will your testimony be heard by all the people. Krishna kahe pratima chale kotah na suni vipramale pratima hayya keha kare vani. Lord Krishna said, I have never heard of deities walking from one place to another. Actually, it doesn't happen much. We've not heard much that deities walk. But see the confidence of the Brahmana. Brahmana replied, that is true. But how is it that you are speaking to me although you are a deity? So if you are a deity, you cannot speak. And therefore, he says, Pratibha nahi tumi sakshat vajendra nandana vipralagi kara tumi akarya karana. My dear Lord, you are not a statue. You are directly the son of Maharaj Nanda. Now, for the sake of all Brahmana, you can do something you have never done before. So, very good this. Do we have faith when we see the deities, that the deities that Radha and Krishna are personally present there? And do we talk with them like they are personally present? So, this is a test of how much we have advanced. See here, the old Brahmana is not fulfilling the promise. And the young Brahmana is saying that you have to do something for the old Brahmana. And when the Lord say that you have never seen that, deity walks, then he says, how can deity talk? If deity can talk, then he can walk. And then he says that you are not statue, but directly Maharaj Nanda, the son of Maharaj Nanda. And therefore, when we see the deities, we should understand that the Lord has personally come from Golok Vrindavan just because he wants to please his dear devotees. And because Srila Prabhupada, all the Guru Maya, the Lord has come himself. The Lord comes because of the call of pure devotee, but whenever he comes, he also helps all our conditioned souls to go back to Godhead. So here, if we see, the Brahmana has so much faith in Lord. हसिया गोपाल कहे सुन ब्राह्मण तुम्हारे पाछे पाछे आमी करी बागमान. Sri Gopal then smiled and said, my dear Brahmana, just listen to me. I shall walk behind you, and in this way I shall go with you. So Gopal is walking, and therefore this very important thing that Krishna doesn't want to word burden also is devotee. Otherwise, if you see, how can somebody alone lift the whole Lord and bring to different place? There were no bullock carts, so it's a long place, no trains, nothing, no workers, alone. And the weight of Krishna is so high. But then Krishna makes an arrangement that he comes walking and comes back so that the devotee is not burdened by anything. So this is a mercy of the Lord that he comes also and does not burden the devotee also. So in the other words, those who understood the science of Krishna's name, form, and so forth, can also talk with the deity. So ordinary personality will appear to be made of stone, wood, or something material. In higher sense, in all material elements ultimately emanate from supreme structural entity. Nothing is really material. Being omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, Krishna can deal with his devotee in any form without difficulty. By the mercy of the Lord, the devotee knows perfectly well about the Lord's dealings. Indeed, he can talk face to face with Lord. So this is how it works. उलटिया मादे तुम्ही ना करीह दर्शन आमक देखिला मी रहिबाये से स्थान. However, do not try to see me by turning around. As soon as you see me, I shall remain stationary in that very place. So Lord wants to check the faith, whether the devotee has faith or not. The Lord will come on his way back. And this is how he asks. Nupurera dhvani matra amara sunibe. Sei shabde amara gamana pratiti karibe kariba. So The devotee may ask, how will I know that you are coming? So the Krishna knows and he says that you will know that I am walking behind by the sound of my ankle bells. एकसारा नरांदी करी समर्पण ताहा खाइए तुम्हारा संग गरीब गमानम. Cook 1 kilo of rice daily and offer it, and I shall eat that rice and follow behind you. So the arrangement of food is also made. If 1 kilo of rice we cooked, and both can it can offer to the Lord as bhoga, and then offered it can be taken as prasad by the devotee. आराधना आज्ञा मागी चलीला ब्राह्मणा तारे पाछे पाछे गोपाल करीला गमाना. The next day the Brahmana begged permission from Gopal and started for his country. Gopal followed him step by step. So for ending, we ask permission. So here also Brahmana begged permission from Gopal and started to the country. So it is not formality, it is how it should be done. Nupara ध्वनि सुनी आनंदित माना उत्तमान पाक करी कराय भोजन. While Gopala followed the young Brahmana, the tinkling sound of his ankle bells could be heard. The Brahmana became very pleased and he cooked first class rice for Gopal to eat. So every day he would cook first class rice, and that time it was not difficult to get rice, anybody would have donated. यही मत्ता चली विप्र नीच देश आईला ग्रामेर निकट आसी मनित चिंतीला. The young Brahmana walked and walked in this way until he eventually arrived in his own country. When he neared his own village, he began to think as follows. एबे मुई ग्रामे आईनु याई मु भवाने लोकेरा कहीं बागिया साक्षीर आगमाने. I have now come to my village, and I shall go to my home and tell all the people that the witness has arrived. साक्षाते ना देखिला मने प्रतीति न हाये इहा यदि रहे न तबु नाई किछु भये. The Vamana then began to think that if people didn't directly see the Gopalji, they would not believe that he has arrived. But even if the Gopal stays here, he thought there is still no fear, nothing to fear. So he's thinking that people should see, but at the same time, if Gopal is there, people come here and see. What is the problem? Eta bhavi se vipra phiriya chali chahila hasya Gopala deve tathaya rahila. Thinking this, the Brahmana turned to look back, and so he saw the Gopal, that Gopal, the Supreme Personality, was standing there and smiling. So he thought, what is the loss now? Anyways, you come to the village. If he doesn't come further, there is no problem. People will come here. But if they don't see, and the Lord goes back, now he's come walking here, and if he goes somewhere, then there is difficulty. So let me see him. And then he sees, and the Lord stays there. ब्राह्मणेरा कहे तुम्हें यहाँ निज घरे एक एठाय रहिबा में नाया बेहत परे. The Lord told the Brahmana, now you can go home. I shall stay here and shall not leave. तबे से विप्रयाए नगर कहिला सुनिया लो सकल लोक चमत्कार हेला. The young Brahmana then went to the town and informed all the people about the Gopal Sahib. Hearing this, the people struck with wonder. Aila sakal loka sakshi dekhi bare Gopala dekhiya loka dandavat karen. All the townspeople went there to see, witness Gopal, and when they saw the Lord actually standing there, they all offered their respectful obeisances. गोपाल सौंदर्य देखी लोकानंदित प्रतिमा चलाई आईला सुनीना विस्मित. When people arrived, they were very much pleased to see the beauty of Gopal, and when they heard that he had actually walked there, they were all very surprised. तबे से बड़ा विप्र आनंदित हया गोपाल रे आगे पड़े Dandavat Hayam. And the elderly Brahmana, being very pleased, came forward and immediately fell like a stick in front of Gopal. So the Dandavat word has come from here. Whenever the pure devotees or the devotee in the spiritual world, whenever they say Lord, they fell like a stick, Dandavat. So Danda means the Danda, how does it fall? It falls like it will, uh, if we fall like him, like a Danda, will break our bones, and therefore we do it very easily. So the real reason why we offer Dandavat to the deities and always on the left side, because so many times people ask, why do you offer only on left side? So we give the reason that because the heart is on left side. But the actual spiritual reason is whenever the Lord is being seen by the devotee is there, he immediately uh, fell like a stick. So he feels like a stick. So he just, and it is always on the left side. The devotee always faints and falls down like a stick on the left side. And therefore, we see that we do Dandavat on the left side. So we are imitating the Vaishnavas from the Golok Vrindans because this is what we are also getting trained. So therefore, because the devotee in the spiritual world always fell down on the left side, we also do Dandavat in the from the left side, left heart. And this is a real reason why we do Dandavat on from the left side. सकल लोकरागे गोपाल साक्षी दीला बड़ा विप्र छोटा विप्र कन्यादान कैला. Thus, in the presence of all the townspeople, Lord Gopal bore witness that the elderly Brahmana had offered his daughter in charity to the younger Brahmana. तबे से दुई विप्र कहिला ईश्वरे तुमी दुई जन्म जन्मे आमारा किंकरे. After the marriage ceremony was performed, the Lord informed both the Brahmanas, "You two Brahmanas are my eternal servants, birth after birth." So these are like Nitya Siddha devotees, and they appear in material world just and seem to appear like common members, but they are not so. And they never forget the Supreme Personality God in any condition. So one is Nitya Siddha and Nitya Baddha. Nitya Siddha never forget relation with Supreme Personality Godhead. And Nitya Bandha is always conditioned, therefore he always forgets relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the difference. And why does Nitya Siddha person come here? Just to broadcast the glories of the Lord. That is the only reason why the Nitya Siddha comes in this material world. And this is how the whole story is. So the elderly Brahman belonged to Aishari family. And the learner was very wealthy. The young Brahmana belonged to ordinary family, was uneducated. But this mundane qualification do not concern a Nitya Siddha engaged in the service of the Lord. You have to accept the fact that the Nitya Siddhas are completely distinct from the Nitya Baddhas who are ordinary human beings. And Srila Narottama Thakur confirms this. Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kari Mane Se Aya Vajendra Sutta Pasha Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Ye Bejani Chintamani Tara Haya Braja Bhumi Vasa. When we accept the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nitya Siddhas is certainly to be elevated to the spiritual kingdom to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. One should also know that Gaura Mandala Bhumi, those places in the Bengal where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed, are equal to Braja Bhumi of Vrindavan. There is no difference between inhabitants of Vrindavan and those of Gaura Mandala Bhumi or Shridham Mayapur. So there is no difference between Mayapur and Vrindavan. In fact, in Mayapur, offenses are not counted, whereas in Vrindavan it is counted. So Mayapur is still better place for us than Vrindavan. दुहारा सत्य तुष्ट हेला दुहे मागे वर दुई विप्र मागे आनंद अंतर. Lord continued, I have become very much pleased by the truthfulness of you both. Now you ask for benediction. Thus with great pleasure the two Brahmanas begged for benediction. यदि वरदि बात बेरहि स्थाने किंकरेरा दया तव सर्वलोक जाने. The Brahmana said, please remain here so that people all over the world will know how merciful you are to servants. So, here, see the wonderful thing. They're asking the Lord to be staying here, and we all know that the devotees or the person who are asking for them to stay will not remain long. But still, the Lord obliges and He stays there. So, therefore, this is a very wonderful thing that Lord obliged to pure devotee, and because of that, so many other people get benefit. गोपाल रहिला दुह करे न सेवाना देखिते आयला सब देशर लोक जाना. Lord Gopal said to Brahma's engaged in service. After hearing of the incident, many people from different countries began to come to see Gopal. So many people came there, and so many people became devotees. से देश राजायला आश्चर्य सुनिया परम संतोष पायला गोपाल देखिया. Eventually, the king of the country heard this wonderful story, and he also came to see Gopal and thus became very satisfied. So eventually, he also came and also became very satisfied. So this is how things happen. And it starts small, but gradually everybody takes note. Like its devotional service also starts small, but then eventually, if people are sincere, then many people take it, and then so many big people also take to devotional service. मंदिरा कराइया राजा सेवा चलाइला साक्षी गोपाल बरी तारा नाम ख्याति हैला. The king constructed a very nice temple and regular service was executed. Gopal became very famous under the name of Sakshi Gopal. In this way, the thing happened that the king constructed temple and he was known as Sakshi Gopal. ये मत विद्यानगर साक्षी गोपाल सेवा अंगीकार करी अच्छे नाचित काल. The Sakshi Gopal stayed in Vidyanagar and accepted the service for a very long time. And then what happened, we'll see after some time. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.